So I'm quite excited. I quite like this next micro chapter of Richard's house. I stole micro chapters off Richard Brautigan, and yeah, he's pretty wicked. He's really, really good writer. A lecturer introduced him to me at Falmouth University. Now, I just want to do a parental warning on this chapter. Parents that are listening to this, it's not really about you. This is not how I feel about you personally, or it's not necessarily this isn't this part that comes up is not about you personally. It's more about just the inheritance of suffering, and it's not about my direct experience with you as parents. And you know, a lot of this story is pertaining to my experience across many things, and encapsulated into, you know, this one narrative. So don't take it personally, although it might be hard not to, but trust me, it's not that. So Richard's house. Richard's house was a red brick terrace house on Broomhill Road, a narrow house with 3 floors joined together by steep staircases. We lived in the attic. Me and Banu shared a bed, and Rune slept in a little hovel of her belongings beneath the eave beside the bed. It was a small room. All the rooms were pokey. It had a skylight window which was opened out onto the vista of our streets, roofs and chimneys and beyond. I guess it's all still there. The room was filthy and full of junk, and it had been for what felt like eons of years. The floor and shelves were littered with discarded things, kebab wrappers and crumbs, clothes and crusts, cigarette butts and socks, all casting shadows. In a constant flux of order and chaos were years of dust and dander that came off us and the other living things. We didn't have any plants, movement, maids or mothers to help us cycle it. In between all of the messes was our love: flocked rabbits, Indian ink markers, Turkish cake wrappers, and hand-drawn maps trying to track the shifting periphery of grey grass, and paper whales swallowing the sea. Richard was likewise cluttered. He too cleared a space each night inside piles of junk, and crawled into a hovel of old clothes and papers to sleep, supported like a gerbil in newspaper shreds. An ash-coloured cat named Madam lived there when we did. When she arrived, she was a noticeably petite cat, but not unusually petite. One night we heard her meowing in the alleyway at the side of the house, and we invited her in. She settled down right away and slept in the kitchen, paying nothing to get in, as we hadn't before her. We didn't ask Richard's permission because it wasn't his to give. Madam belonged there and found her space. And anyway, Richard hummed yes wherever he went. Madam was pregnant when she came, and after that, Madam was pregnant when she came, and after she had the litter, she got smaller. She birthed a litter of black kittens, sad-eye, ham and egg. She fornicated then with a rather ladsome white cat named Chester, and gave birth again 4 months later to a white litter, Fish, Madeline and Curtains, and likewise, Madam got smaller after that. By then she was getting difficult to spot among the mess. She was extraordinarily small, and her kittens likewise. A third litter arrived 4 months later, but nobody knew it because Madam got impossibly small after that. Her kittens likewise, and they were all often mistaken for dust mites and told off regularly for jumping on the bed. The mess was no longer a mess to Madam and the litter of unseen kittens, because they were so small, the landscape of clutter was like an expansive mountain range for them. The white kitten, Sad-Eye, and the black kitten, Madeline, had a litter, wisp-coloured, if you can imagine it. vague, changing, smoky things. All the visible felines, so that's the white litter, the black litter, and the vague litter, became invisible by choice. They slipped out the skylight window one night and, like fog, snow, and smoke, drifted off among the chimneys and beyond. Parental warning. This is your parental warning coming up. Yikes. Oh, I don't like computers. So we had blood relatives alive in a loft somewhere in Greygrass, where we were all born. We lived without them together in Richard's small attic, to survive a while, to forget them. We hid from our parents' shadows, for their shadows were like the bodies clutching to the boat that sails along the River Styx towards a more revised experience of the underworld. They were some of the strangers in the mist in the airy suburbs. We blamed ourselves for hiding, for sailing, converted with Hades whilst they writhed. Not that we understood that then, and I don't know whether Banu and Rune have resurfaced with any pomegranates, because I lost them both. Our dissociation with our parents was unconscious, and it caused us unchecked confusion, creating mess about the bedroom. The confusion was the dawn of my understanding. It was a paper whale released into the wild. Rain is confusing when it falls down, splashing and making puddles, making people wet. Some people say it rains cats and dogs when it rains. Can you imagine how many shadows cats and dogs would make tumbling down from the light through the clouds? Once the rain has made a mess, landing on practically everything has a chance to absorb it and hydrate, after which the surplus water is either drawn up into a cloud again, or it refines itself to streams and then rivers, drawn back to the ubiquitous sea. Either way, after rainfall, a journey back to the beginning ensues, meaning that which you don't understand, that which rushes in the stream and mists the air, is already on the way to making itself clear. Here in Kurumi Field, the cyclic nature of things beginning, middling and ending, again and again and again, can be felt at once, not just in stages. Because of that, this dimension has become a stage rather than me, Ishka, being in a stage. I am Ishka on a stage. On a stage, I can tell a story all at once, and that story will reveal itself to be every story. It is with that gnosis that I will leave Kurumi Field on a platform with a kit bag of masks that are no longer some unconscious identity crisis to my detriment or whatever the babble of the world replaced the brook with. The masks are my tools. I go like the black swans, multitudinous and diverse. I can't be sure the underworld won't take me again, but let it carve out another deep chamber for me to find a seed of wisdom within, and I shall take it back to the beginning, back to the origin of magic, before the spell of form casts the first shadow.